Okay, here I am. I know what the problem is. I had the vocoder active. Stupid me. Yeah, it happens. And yeah, good evening, everybody. I have a Tom Aldrich groove evening. A little bit different from last time. So, or maybe it's a good idea to simply, if you have different products, sometimes that if you simply go from one preset to another, you sometimes run into very cool things. So what I did is, here we have this little song which is repeating itself. You see, I have this little vocal affix which sometimes gets a bit of annoying. So then I shut it off. This one. Okay, let's mute it. Yeah, and last time we had this groove already with the bass, but now I simply picked a different RG preset. And this month we have RG, and yeah, you see the user interface is pretty small. It seems to be, by the way, the case that you can increase it in some way, but not native increasing, which means that we have bigger screen versions. But yeah, I really pick here simply a distorted RG groove. And so if I play this again, here we go. So here it plays. You hear it's a power chord. And if you go to the notes I play, essentially you can see down here that it's not the case that it continuously, because if you hit the notes just like an arpeggiator or sequencer, it triggers the built-in sequencer. And you see here this note that is followed by two short ones. So this makes that the groove has its variation. So it's not only playing the sequencer, but just by giving different start points or interrupting the sequence, you can have a different groove. So watch here, it starts on bar 15, and then you have the little short. And here you can also see that it restarts here on the sequencer. And it's even the case that you can shut down the reset. So then it should not reset. Let me see how it happens. Okay, it resets. Why? I'm not sure. Oh, that's in case of legato. Yeah, if you play legato, but we don't play legato. So, and by the way, here you also see this feature which is called Sequence Keyboard, which we discussed, I think, 2 weeks ago with the arpeggiator. So here you also see which the velocity, so the engine in the upper section gets responded to velocity. You can add here in the filter section, here it is the velocity. And by this dial, if you go to the left, the sequencer determines how much the velocity setting is and how it responds. And you can also use the keyboard so that the velocity of the sequencer is ignored and your playing does control the velocity of the engine. So I use this one, and simply it's one of the basic presets, because if I go one preset back, so it's like this one. But that one did not work with the rest. So sometimes you go from one preset to another, and then, so if I play this now over again with the rest, I simply go through a few presets just to show you that sometimes if you go to a next preset and already have something played, so there's already something played in the track, and you change at that moment. And you change at that moment the preset. So let's play it again. Yeah, that one is not so good. Another one. That's the one I used. There are more, of course. Let's see. No. This one could maybe do one time. is also a nice one. But this one you could simply do on a different spot, maybe on a break. Yeah, you see, this is a bit older product already. I think RG is out already. Maybe, it's already out for quite some years. Someday we need to update with different user interface. And here you see the preset and banks is in this section here. Essentially, when we released it, some people could not use it on their screens because it was a little bit bigger, higher. But once the full HD came out, of course, that problem was gone. And so, yeah, you have different banks. Here you have the banks. Electric grooves are the rhythm guitar, inspired essentially on the 70s rhythm disco guitar sound by Nile Rodgers, you know, this funky thing, or the theme of Shaft, you know, these type of styles, which is a major and minor 7. There are no other chords inside of it, so it's mainly a groove machine. Then we have steel string grooves. And by the way, you have the grooves 1 and groove 2 of the electric guitar, but the electric basic grooves are without using the additional synth features inside of it. Then you have steel guitar, and then of course what we're playing now is the distorted, and there's basic grooves, but also more grooves which are different. And you see, I'm now in the distorted RG, which means this is not a chord, but a fifth. So that doesn't matter if you have a lot of chord changes. It's a fifth tuning, a powered chord, as they mean. So that always will fit no matter what chords you will have. And then there is the muted, and the muted I play a bit later on. But so what I did is simply fiddle around, go into this groove stuff here, and simply pick one of the presets. And I need to recall which it was again. Yeah, I could go into the recently browsed. There I should have find it, which I used. Was it dirty? Yeah, that could be. Yeah, there's it again. So that sounded nice. And then I started also with adding next to it the muted guitar, which is this one. No, that's a synth. So here it is, the muted, and I simply played, so this is a single notes, also triggers the sequence, but these are not chords, really muted sounds. And you see the melody I play. Okay, let's show it, if I can show this to you. Maybe I should glue this a little bit, so that's a little bit longer. So in this one, down here you can see it. This is what I played. I even did not quantize it, so it picks up pretty good. But also here, I mean, you could, this is the, even the first preset, and it's the lower string, or you could say, okay, let's take another one. Okay, that which is higher. And of course, you need to see what fits best. That could be also a cool one. But I had the little wah one. bass from last time. And that's okay. You see what a difference in user interface size. This is the bass desert, but most likely I did edit it a little bit. Maybe I made it a little darker. Yeah, the bass is from Subboom Bass 2. It's the original. It's called Bass Desert 04, but I don't think that it's the original preset. So I tweaked it a little bit to make it fit. And sometimes it's in. So if you have a preset in Subboom Bass 2, it can be making the release shorter. Whole different feel, isn't it? Just by increasing the release of the bass, you add the groove feel to it. So the envelope, attack, decay, sustain, release, is not only a time device to control how the volume contour is, but it's also a timing thing, feel thing, a rhythm thing. So if I make it shorter in the release, again. Okay, leave it like this. Then I played with blue, just by hand. A bit clavy sound, which is panned to another sound. And blue 2 has one bank. If we go to the manager, which is called keyboard sounds. And I first was playing around a little bit with the other piano, so the of this one. Whirly, whirly, whirly. Or this one. So I was trying this one, but then I thought, oh, maybe it's cool to do a little bit like Steve Wonder type of clavinet sound. And I used this one, but I did shut down the comp filter. So let's play it with the comp filter. So I changed in this preset the FX. Okay, where it comes? Where is it, baby? Where are you? Oh, here it comes, you see? Yeah, B2, Bluetooth. This was the original one. But I shut down the comp filter and the FX and stereo delay. And of course, if you hear it a bit solo, you hear I did not quantize it. But that's sometimes for the groove nice, so that it's not perfect. Of course, I did copy paste it, but did not quantize. So if I'm not sure if that is good to see for you guys, but if I increase it, you see my timing. It's not precise. But that makes it groovy combined with the rest. If you hear it solo, you might think, oh, it's not really 100% time. But if you put on the drums, okay, and the other guitar. The combination, okay, so that is what I did. So to reiterate, or you call it in English, to repeat myself, I starting using presets. Sometimes it needs to be tweaked, so I picked this clavinet type of sound, but the original one had the FX active, so I put that off, and you see, simply two little things can already make a big difference. Just by using presets, I used a Subboom Bass 2 bass, which is most likely edited. maybe we can go to Sub Bass 2 back to show what I maybe did, or going back to the original preset. So RG I use twice, simply go from one preset to another. And then there's also a little brass sound here from Predator, which scratch. This is the, and you see I made it from default. As I can see here, okay, I double click to see where are the notes. Oh, it's it should show me the notes down here, but maybe I'm zooming too much. Hey, they disappeared. Oh no, here they are. Yeah, that seems to me a little bit quantized. Yeah, so these I did quantize, but there was another thing playing from Predator. I think it was this one. Essentially the same sound. So it uses the same sound. So it's simply combining two things together. Okay, let's hit the bass. And the guitar is really making the drive, isn't it? Oh yeah, and then I play this bit sound. And you see, I use the, and yeah, this is a simply one sound from B.I.T, which is a Prince Synth 01, so inspired on Prince's stabby sounds, which he did on his Oberheim stuff back in the day in the early 80s. And one thing you could do with this sound is put off the delay, and then you see it sounds straight away different in the mix. So with the delay really makes it more spacey. So that sound was simply a basic preset. And yeah, you see, depending on everything playing, you need to make things. Sometimes you need to put off the delay, and depends on what it does. So dry also could be an option. Yeah, so I thought, yes, let's go Tom Aldrich funky today. I see Tom is also in the chat room, and everybody, welcome. If you have a question, just let me know. I just started, just like last week, something, just being funky and having fun. And you see, you can start with the presets. You can start editing a little bit. And also what is cool, if you have played already something inside of it, or like what I did with RG, simply picking the notes were there, and I simply picked a different preset, and suddenly, hey, it can pop up as a nice groove. So that's what happened. Ahead of the live stream, The one thing which triggered doing this is this, that I changed RG simply from one sound into the other one. So let's see what the original was. I think from last week it was something with the electric grooves. So let's see what that was. And see that one? You see, that one doesn't work, at least not in this one. That one could maybe fit nice in a later part, and then what I then would add shut down, bypass. If you click here on this little label too, you can bypass the FX inside RG. So that's a tip. You see FX 1, 2, and then I would make it more dry. But of course, the sound which made this groove now cool was this distorted guitar. So when I go back again here, do the distorted RG grooves and use the what was it? Was distorted dirty 01. That was the one we used. So then you get this. Yeah, and then we could also, if you find in Punch 2 the loop annoying. So what I did here was Punch 2. There are two Punch 2 playing. Punch 2. This one is the this plastic groove. But what I did is this preset had initially a audition sequence mode, so it kept on changing. So I switched to audition mode, and then I simply picked the things I wanted to do. So I could also then now, by picking the audition mode, shut down this loop, this bottle thing, which let's play it solo. Okay, I need to solo my voiceover. So here I'm back. So I shut down the loop, which is essentially this little bottles. Now you only hear the bottles. Okay, now put it on again. And we had the other drums, which was this one. And to make maybe the low end a little bit better, we could shut down maybe one bass drum from one of the things, although it's possible. It's now it's more steady kick drum from the other one. This is a preset from and I muted the bass drum. So either way, maybe I'll simply combine it. So I think it's not a problem to combine both the bass drums. So essentially combining two grooves together made this whole thing. So, guys, you see, I have the Tom Aldrich virus. Totally happened that this evening went into a Tom Aldrich groove. Oh, funky Tom. Cool. Yeah, I'm checking now out the chat room, which I'm missing a little bit because I'm showing all kind of things. Yeah, in the club, it makes the woman move it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, I had a nice. Once I was in a NAM show, maybe nice to tell you, and we had at that time we had sub-boom bass, and I was playing sub-boom bass, and there was a typical hip hop producer came over, and he had two ladies next to him, and I showed him, and they couldn't stop dancing. They start dancing, and I have to be serious and talk to this guy and explaining, and they keep on dancing. That was a very funny thing on the NAM show. Okay, let's see if I maybe missed out one of the questions. Yeah, I see somebody about the native Apple Silicon M1. Yeah, it's the case that now our software on the MN does run in the Rosetta mode, as they call it. And yeah, there's something which still can be in CPU-wise, which will be even better if it will be native coding on this M1. But of course, we have many plugins, and we first need to test with this a different mode. But on the other hand, keep in mind that I wonder if people will notice the difference, because already our software is very optimized, very well coded by John Iris and Sajak on the Mac computer. So I wonder if people could see it, the difference, because sometimes when I use on my older synthesizer, in my older setup, which is already a computer from 2013, it's which is already, oh my, it's 8 years old. It's amazing what I still can do on my computer, which is an i7. And sometimes you don't see the CPU moving. So I wonder if that will be a big difference. But of course, we will see that once we have the first product for testing it out. But I think it will be hard to notice. I think the M1 is already very optimized, and I think what they did very well is to have you need to, if you buy an M1, always buy one with a bigger RAM and a bigger hard disk, because you cannot expand it. It's one board, and that makes it also fast because everything is integrated. The memory is integrated, the hard disk is integrated on this same print, or what do you call it? So this integration makes it also fast. So if you buy an M1, buy one with a bigger RAM, biggest RAM, and a bigger hard disk, because you cannot exchange it. Well, I have a MacBook here. I did upgrade my MacBook with a from a regular hard disk to a SSD hard disk, 1 terabyte. That's no problem at all. I improved my memory, no problem at all. You screw it open, but that is not possible anymore with this new M1 machine from Apple. So if you are buying one, buy one with bigger hard disk and with bigger RAM memory. Very important. So yeah. Mrs. Candy Dolfer. Yeah, Candy Dolfer is she's Dutch, very good saxophone player. Yeah. Okay, I'm checking the lives. So, have anybody a question? We are, of course, apart from doing now some funky stuff here together on the live stream, we are working very hard on our new plugins, which will be Predator 3, and of course, our vocoder type thing. And I'm creating now presets. The manual is in progress. And essentially, Predator 3 is also, the user interface is ready. There are a few little glitches, but I'm testing out a few things. It will have, just like Blade 2, if we go here to Blade 2, it will have ratcheting, which you know from Blade 2, which I finally can pronounce it. Isn't that cool? Ratcheting. Yeah, here it is down here. So that will be inside the arpeggiator of Predator 3. And what we will have also in Predator 3 is what you know from Sublime Bass. Sublime Bass 2, we have... Sublime Bass doesn't have a arpeggiator. It has a sequencer. And you see, Sublime Bass also has the ratcheting. And these features, what you see here of ratcheting with velocity, we will add in Predator 3. And also it will have 4 arps. And as you can recall, with 4 arps you can make 4 split points. And you can, for instance, also create pattern mode, which is also possible inside here in Sublime Bass 2. So this method that you can say first play ARP A, then ARP B, or you can say do a top select. And top select means that the 4 upper notes on your keyboard, 5 octave, are used then for selecting the sequencer. And then we have, of course, the split A, B, split A, D. So, yeah, it's from that perspective, it's newer. What we also will have is a new row, which is called step lengths. And step lengths, you can make it shorter here, but essentially this is not very often used because, making the sound shorter, you also can do here inside the envelope. But if you want to have a different length per steps instead of using the tie notes, because here you can also make a step longer by using the tie notes, but by step lengths you can have each note a different step length. So also that is new in the arpeggiator from Predator 3. Filter 2 will be always visible. We will have a new filter types, and we also add frequency shift in the filter, which is also very interesting. Then there is an audio follower, which is cool for doing side-chain stuff with Predator 3, which makes, for instance, that you can use a bass drum as an input and use the bass drum to control various parameters of Sublime Bass 2. We will have a very intelligent preset variation where you can say pick one preset and the other preset and morph between them. So a lot of new material. New samples, and Predator 3 doesn't use samples. It's really wavetable and modeled waveform. So if you go to it's a bit the same as not here, because Sublime Bass 2 uses samples, but here you see these are modeled waveforms. So these are analog modeled saw wave. Then you got spectrum waveforms, which are essentially digitized waveforms, which are wave-stable, as they call it. And but samples we don't have in Predator 2. But of course, you can have a let me see, the preset morphing. That will be part inside of it. Here, the preset morphing, where you can morph between 2 different waveforms. That will be still. So the user interface will be totally different. We will surprise you. And of course, we hope you like it, but it's going to be very, very different. The bank managers will be the same, of course. We get rid of the easy page because I never was happy with the easy page. I think it was not as good as it could be, and I think in the newer layout it's already much better that you don't need an easy page. Let me see if there's any. That's a good one. Ryder Rich, Rob, I missed half an hour. Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, I think I already do a live stream already for a longer period. at that time it was a little bit of a problem to get it arranged because I wanted to do it earlier, but I didn't get the audio working. And then somebody did tipped me of using a recorder stuff thing and a virtual cable. But then I found out it's a setting in OBS. Of course, I need to be careful that I don't. Okay, let me see if I can show it without going out of setting. Okay, yeah. Here you can see it. Here's the trick with, if you ever want to do streaming, this is the trick with OBS. Everybody uses OBS, but the problem is on your PC, you use then ASIO for your music program, like in my case, Cubase. So if you use then here the global audio devices, the audio desktop audio never came in. So you need to use the auxiliary, and in this case I use the auxiliary audio 2, and here you see analog 1 and 2 for the RME comes in. So the other ones here, which you expect desktop audio, that's the one I need. No, never will work. So you need to have the auxiliary. Most likely I could also use this one, but I use this one. So audio 2 I use, and then the audio popped up. It's a typical thing. Okay. And then, of course, you need to have an audio card, if I go open here, which has this loop back features. The loop back features, many audio cards have this, means that what the output goes back to the input so that you can stream it. So that's the loop back feature. And it took me quite a while to figure it out. And after that, of course, I could stream. And yeah, it's okay. There's so many cool stuff. I mean, each has its own focus. I mean, I play now many instruments. B.I.T, if you really like the classic. Although with Predator 2, you also can do this kind of things. But B.I.T is really focusing on this the analog machines, the typical and the part of the engine we also will use in Predator 3. So Predator 3 will also have things which we did in the engine from B.I.T. And yeah, I use this one. And you see it all, I mean, it's all there. There's nothing gone in your mix. This is even not mixed, it's just playing live. And I mean, if you then level everything and maybe EQ a little bit, you get a very nice sound. But you see the products, you don't lose them in the mix. They are there, they have a powerful sound and a lot of harmonics. So these are more the synth sounds. Synth horns. Oh, en zonneklavinet. I just picked the presets. Phasing. Oh, the typical synth sound also will be cool. Let me see. Synth leads. wait, but you mean this preset 20? Clavinet, yeah, with the phasing. Yeah, then we have the yeah, that one was his phasing. Yeah, lead sounds are fantastic in B.I.T. I use it on stage myself. It's really amazing how sweet this synthesizer sounds. It's Winwood lead. Okay, now I get a copyright strike, of course, playing Steve Winwood. Yeah, it's yeah. This is, of course, the people think, okay, what's happening with the? This is the legato mode, which came over from the analog synthesizer. If I play mode is legato, if I would make it mono, this means that each time I hit a new note, it re-triggers again the envelopes. But in legato mode, if you play legato, so you hit it round, that's the envelope, but it's not triggered again. Yeah, nice, isn't it? Okay. And even got popcorn here. Okay, that's gonna be another copyright strike. Okay, guys. Yeah, so I hope you enjoy a little bit the live streams. Thumbs up. And that will be cool. If you missed it, yeah, you always can watch it back in the playlist live streams in case you missed the live stream. And if you have an interesting idea about particular subjects in synthesis, and if I can talk about it or explain things, I would be happy to do so. So just let me know. Yeah, the Aurora synth. Yeah, oh, now I can recall your email. Yeah. The point is, I'm working on the Aurora song myself already. I started this some time ago in a live stream, but it's a little bit more than expected. But many things I use from B.I.T, but essentially also could do it with Predator. I think here I have started with the Panflöte Aurora. So I'm working on this one. I'm not sure if it's 100% okay. Okay, that was a false note. So I'm working on it. A commas lead. So I'm working on it, but it's pretty much work. At that time, we did everything with the Korg MS-20 range, and of course, the sound should be good, doable. And the Korg Sigma was used, and I just recalled today that the drums were a master thing drums. It was not the KR55, but a master drum little box. Then of course the strings we used. And I made that one also. If we go here to paths, you got more the Solina strings things. And then, of course, at the end, there is a woof sound which was done with the MS-20. So it sounds like a pretty easy song, but there's a lot of going on inside of it. At the end, here, kind of doof, which is done on the MS-20, was essentially, if you play it back, it will go very fast to, let me see. I need a default. Essentially what I did was this. I go here to big noise, make it dark. That's what you hear in the track. Yeah. Okay, guys. So it's in progress. All you see here, I'm working on the leads. Aurora sequence too. Saw sequence. So yeah, you see, it's work in progress. And of course, next year, it's 40 years ago that we went up to the chart #1 in the Netherlands with Aurora. There was going to be a re-release of the first album and the second album as a double CD. Once it is out, of course, I will show it. But of course, I'm working on and then I could create a MIDI file of it, or simply a Cubase song with all the presets together, and then you could play Aurora with B.I.T. and Predator. I think what I did a few months ago, I started out with the strings of Predator 2, and then I started using B.I.T. for the other sound. So it's work in progress. Okay. Well, Rich, I would say simply start with B.I.T. and play, have fun, and later on you always can upgrade. So maybe it's too much if you purchase everything at once. Then there's so many cool stuff in our bundle. So I think it's wise to start out with B.I.T. and then if you enjoy that one, then you can say, okay, let's move up. Maybe buy one other product or say, okay, let's go for the full bundle. Anyhow, we go out today, inspired this whole live stream by Tom Aldrich. Thanks for making me funky and groovy, Tom. And Tom did send in a demo song again. Okay, here we go. It's called Just Move It. Well, Tom, thanks for sending in, and we will enjoy it. And thanks for watching, guys. Hope to see you next week. And if you have an idea for a live stream, just drop it on info@robpapen.com and we see you next week. Thanks for watching. And Tom, thanks for sending another cool demo.
Give it to me one time, come on.